Today we're making pakore and chutney, so I'm starting off with the chutney. So we start off with 2 tomatoes for this chutney. They're just normal tomatoes. I'm just going to give them a wash. So I'm just going to chop them up into smaller pieces, just so that it's small enough and easier for the blender to work. And this chutney, I think, as far as I'm aware, my mom invented this recipe and everyone seems to love this chutney. It goes really nice with samosa as well. And the next thing you want to put in there is a little bit of onion. So not a full onion, so you've got a small onion. Literally just a little bit, just to give a little bit of sweetness to the chutney, okay? And then I'm going to chop it in quarters. So a quarter of an onion. Just take the skin off and chop the end off. So a quarter of an onion I've just chopped. I'm going to put that into the food processor as well. A handful of coriander. Okay, I'm just going to give it a quick rinse. Okay, I've washed it. I'm going to leave the stalks on because they have quite a lot of flavour. So just a bunch of coriander basically. There's no accurate measurements. I'm going to break it in half and then stick that in there as well. Now, depending on how spicy you like your chutney, we're not very spice lover. Well, we don't like things to be too spicy in our family. So I find that 2 green chillies is more than enough in this chutney. However, if you like things a bit more hotter and spicier, you can add more. And if you like them very less or very little spicy, then you can just add 1 green chilli. So that's entirely up to you. But I'm going to add 2 in. They're quite big actually, so maybe I might want to put 1.5 because that one's quite big. So let's put 1 full one, I think 1/2 in. So I've put 1.5 green chilies because they were quite big. The next thing we're going to put in there is our seasoning. Okay, you just need a little bit of salt. Okay, I'm using Himalayan pink salt. You can use any salt that you use at home. My mum uses Himalayan pink salt, which is really good for you. So this is quite salty compared to regular table salt. So I'm just going to put literally a quarter of a teaspoon in there, okay? You could always add more at the end if you need to. So once you've put your salt in there, you need to put some mint sauce in there. Now you can use fresh mint leaves as well if you want to. I didn't have any, so I'm going to use mint sauce. But I do prefer the mint sauce. I don't know, I just feel like it gives a different kind of minty flavour compared to the fresh mint. And I prefer the mint sauce, but like I said, you can put fresh mint in there. A teaspoon or a bit more if you want to of mint sauce, okay? A heaped teaspoon. I feel like I want to put a little bit more, so I might put half more. 1.5 teaspoons. So 2 tablespoons of imli sauce. So I use this Maggi one because I really like the flavour of this. The Maggi one I find is really tasty and I really like this one, so I use this one quite a lot. But you can use any brand imli sauce. And that's pretty much it for the ingredients of the chutney. And now all you have to do is whiz it up and then taste it for seasoning. And if you need to put more salt in there or more mint in there or more imli in there, you can do that too, okay? So all you have to do now is whiz it up. Now, if you find this too spicy, you can always add another tomato or add some more onion, a little bit more onion and a little bit more tomato to get rid of the spiciness if you think it's too spicy for you, okay? So that's your chutney basically done. And pour it out into. Okay, it doesn't look amazing. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't look like the most beautiful chutney in the world, but it does taste really, really good. So that's literally our chutney ready. Delicious. Honestly, it's absolutely delicious, this chutney. It's so tasty. So now we'll move on to the pakoras. Now, a little tip for you guys. If you plan on making your pakora batter now and frying it later, then I advise you to not add any salt and not add any wet ingredients to your pakora batter. So if you, for example, got a guest coming and you want to fry your pakoras when the guests come so they're nice and fresh and crispy, then put everything in there apart from the salt and the wet ingredients in your pakora batter. Because once you put your salt in there, the onions release water and moisture. And if you've already put all your wet ingredients and mixed it to the right consistency, and then the onions release their water as well, the batter will get too wet and then you'll end up with basically soggy pakoras. They won't be crispy. So if you do want to, just prepare all the rest, all the cutting and everything, put all of the masalas in there, but just don't put your wet ingredients, like your egg, your yogurt and your water. Don't put those in, and don't put your salt in until just before you are planning to serve them. But if you're going to make them and serve them straight away, then that's absolutely fine. Just add everything in at the same time and then make it. Okay? So first of all, you want to start off by peeling your potato. So I just use a potato peeler, which makes life a lot easier. I think it's fast and easy. So that's the potato peeled. And then you want to dice your potato into small cubes, okay? Some people cut them into circles and make it like that, but I prefer pakoras with small cubes in. So it's entirely up to you, but I'm going to dice it into small cubes, okay? So you just do that by slicing your potato like so in like about centimeter pieces. And then you take each piece and then you're going to cut it again into about just like chips basically. And then turn it around and then dice it into smaller cubes, okay? And then you end up with small little cubes like this to put into your pakoras. So just do that to your whole potato. Fine. So we're going to add these potato cubes now to our bowl. The next thing I'm going to put in there is a large onion. So I like to use red onion in my pakoras simply just because I like the taste of them. You can use normal regular white onions if you want as well. I think these red ones, they look nicer as well in the actual pakora when you fry them, and they taste, I prefer the flavor of them. But yeah, like I said, you can use just normal white onions if you want. And with the onions, I just like to slice them thinly. So I'm just going to cut the onion in half, peel it. Okay, get rid of the skin. So I've got two halves here, and now what I like to do to make them thin slices is basically cut it this way first, a couple of times. Okay, not all the way through because otherwise it's going to fall apart. Okay, and then turn it around and then just chop very thin slices. Okay. So you want your onion to be thin slices, okay? The thinner they are, the crispier they're going to get in the oil. If they're too thick, then they stay a bit soggy, okay? And just add your chopped onion to your bowl as well. So we've got our potatoes and we've got our onions in there. So the next thing we're going to put in there is our coriander. So you need a little bit more than this, but obviously I don't have enough for both things. So a bunch of coriander, basically like a handful of coriander. And this time I'm going to cut majority of the stalks off because they don't taste that nice in pakoras, I think. But leave some of the stalks, and then I think you need to give this a wash first. And then we're going to just chop it finely again, just to give some extra flavor into the pakoras. So just basically hold it as a bunch and then chop it. Okay. So that goes into your masala as well. The next thing, because in pakore, like classically, we put spinach. So I like to use just this kind of spinach or baby spinach. It's already washed, so I don't have to wash it. I don't have to faff about with fresh, you know, the big stalks and stuff like that. So I just grab a handful, okay, from the packet. Right. A little bit more. Spinach tastes good. It's good for you. You know, Popeye's got big muscles from eating spinach. So what you do is you gather your spinach leaves, okay, just like so, and then you chop them up finely as well. So just grab a few that are going to fit easily, or you'll be able to cut easily. Just like so, in a bunch. And then you want to just chop them, okay? So just start at one end and then just chop like so. Just the same way you did with the coriander, and then you can chop it finer if you want to. Okay, and then just add that spinach to your bowl as well. And the last bunch, I'll just gather it all up, and then we choppity chop chop. Just watch your fingers. Fingers don't taste nice in pakore. Pretty sure a couple of times I have chopped my finger into batter. So yeah, don't do that. Just watch your fingers. And now we're going to add in our seasoning, okay? I'm just going to turn on the oil because I'm going to show you how to fry a few before I do this, because I want the oil to be hot when I do that part. So just put the oil on low heat so it doesn't get too hot. Okay, so this is our mixture so far, and we're going to add in our spices now, okay? We are going to use, first of all, some salt, okay? So again, add to your own taste. I think about a teaspoon in here should be enough of this Himalayan pink salt, just according, and you can always taste your batter at the end, and if you think it's less salty, you can add some more. And like I said, if you're going to fry them later, then don't add the salt now. But if you're going to fry them straight away, then add the salt, okay? So I'm going to put a teaspoon of salt in there. And then I've got red chili flakes, okay? So they look like this. I'm going to also add a teaspoon of those. So a teaspoon of coriander powder goes in there. And then a teaspoon of cumin powder, which is zira powder, okay? That goes in there as well. So it looks like that. Then I'm gonna chop in green chili, which I forgot to do, should have done that earlier. And just chop it into small pieces. So I like to cut the head off, slice the chili in half, and you slice it into quarter. Okay, and you lay them flat together and then just chop them into small pieces, okay? The green chili goes in as well. Just gonna give that a little bit of a mix. Right, so the next thing I want to add in there is our wet ingredients. The key to making crispy pakora is yogurt, okay? I don't use baking powder or baking soda or anything like that in my pakoras. I've never found the need for it. This is what I use to make it go crispy, so I use yogurt, okay? So you need basically a tablespoon of yogurt in your mixture. So just like that, just put that in, and then you crack in 1 egg. This helps bind the pakoras together as well. Before adding the gram flour, which is what binds all of this together, I mix it in. So I mix this stuff in, then I add my gram flour in, and then I see if I need to add water, because sometimes this yogurt and egg mixture is enough moisture in there for the gram flour as well. I don't like to make my batter too wet. So the wetter it is, the more soft your pakoras are going to be. The drier it is, the more crispy they're going to be, okay? So mix that in, give it a good mix. Now I'm going to add in the gram flour. Now this is also called besan, okay, and it's made from chickpeas. So there's no real measurement for this. So I'd say I'm putting in about a couple of tablespoons. Then I'm going to mix it and see, and then if I need more, and then add more in if I think I do. Okay. So add another 2 tablespoons, and then mix it in. But can you see what it looks like? It's pretty much joined together now. I'm just going to add a touch of water to loosen it up slightly. A tablespoon of water I'm going to put in just to loosen up the mixture a little bit, okay? So if you put too much moisture in there, they won't end up be crispy, okay? They're going to end up soggy. So can you see the consistency of my mixture? Yeah, I like to put a tiny bit more water in there, I think. More tablespoon. So I'm just going to test the oil first. I'm going to add a little bit in there to see if it's hot enough. Yep, it's definitely hot enough. So I've put the heat on medium now. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab in my hand about a tablespoon worth of mixture and put it into the oil. Now if you're not confident enough to do it by hand, just get a tablespoon and use that and do it like that, okay? I just find it more comfortable doing it this way because I know how much I've got in my fingers. I just feel more in control. But you can, like I said, you can just do it with a tablespoon. You fit about a tablespoon of mixture per pakora you want. A plate with some kitchen paper on it to drain the oil, okay? Don't turn them too quickly, but as soon as you put them in, because then they'll separate. So once they've joined together and they've cooked a little bit on one side, then you want to flip them, okay? Also, don't add too many to one batch of oil, because again, that will adjust the temperature of your oil and then they'll become soggy. Okay, so they're ready. Okay, I don't want them to go too dark. So basically you fish them out of the oil, let the excess oil drain off, use a slotted spoon, and then you put them on your towel to drain. Okay, so just let the excess oil drain out and put them on your kitchen paper. Now I just want to show you how crispy these are. Dip and eat. Bismillah, open wide guys. Ah, they look so good, so tasty, so crispy. Hot, my hand's burning. Thank you so much for joining me guys. I hope you enjoyed that recipe. I hope you enjoy your pakoras. Obviously you can taste the first batch to see if you need to adjust the salt or any other spices in there. If you like it slightly more spicier or whatever, you can add more stuff into there, no problem at all. and hopefully I will see you soon next time in my own kitchen. Bye, take care.